It's the phenomenal status, phenomenal financial freedom. What's going on, everyone? It's time to share it to the group. Good, 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 good. All right, we're in phenomenal financial freedom. We're talking about something that's pretty new to me. How to make six figures. I don't know who's in. I think I'm in. Yep, we're all in. So if you're not in, you just watch the replay. Who wants to make six figures? Anybody? I've learned that there's it's not easy to make six figures as many people say it is. Yeah, they act like it's easy to make six figures, but what is six figures? First of all, you gotta understand what six figures is, and six figures is $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year in income, and the average salary for African Americans in this country is $32,000 a year. It's not easy to make six figures as many people portray it to be. And six figures is also relative. It might be a great salary. Six figures is a great salary in places like the South, where the cost of living is cheaper. But six figures is not that much money, in, let's say, the West Coast, California. Um, Imagine that your apartment costing for a two-bedroom, like for instance in San Francisco, a two-bedroom apartment costs $3,000 a month, like triple, twice people, triple to two times people's mortgages. Now, if you want to live in San Francisco, you got to make six figures for a two-bedroom. The national median house income, I'm sorry, household cost is 1175. So most people in this country only have to pay $1,200 for a two-bedroom. So in most places, then yeah, six figures is good. Not so much other places. Who's in the house tonight? I know. I could always count on my mama. Good to see you, mommy. Listen, don't forget. My book is on Amazon, and of course, you can find it at my website, www.phenomenalstemist.com. So, how do you make six figures? How do you make six figures? Three ways. The three ways, according to Invested Wallet, to make six figures. Three ways are career, side hustle, investment. Career, side hustles, and investment. Ma, do you want to make six figures? You think you think it's too late for you to try to make six figures? Who says you don't already? Listen, career, side hustle, investment. All right, so we'll start with career. $100,000 a year, you would have to work a lot. You'd have to work a lot. So who makes six figures? I think I've talked about this before. Physicians, physicians assistants, business managers, financial advisors, management in all fields, whether it be from the level of construction to anything. If you're a manager, computer information systems manager, you know, Software developers make six figures. Um, thing is, you don't get paid six figures right away. I don't care how educated you are. Don't let people convince trick you in that. So I remember when I first got my PhD, I graduated from Einstein College of Medicine with a PhD, and my postdoc position I moved down to Florida and I was making $36,000 a year as a postdoctoral fellow. Granted, it was a training, job. It wasn't like it's an academic training job. Nonetheless, that's how much I made. That's how much I made. So, and even physicians, they come out of residency, they make money. I mean, they come out of medical school, they start working in residency, they're not making that much money. Your starting salary is not always $100,000 a year. Don't let anybody trick you. Some fields can, granted. But the reality is also that if you're going to make $100,000 a year, you're going to have to work a lot. Those same physicians who make $100,000 a year, they're working quite a bit. I mean, you could in New York City, you could be in sanitation, and if you work your cards right, especially in days like this where the snowstorms are crazy, pulling overtime, you could make $100,000 a year. Those garbage men probably make like 60 something, $70,000 a year base salary, and then they pull overtime, six figures like that. Like, your career can get you $100,000 a year, and it does not have to be limited to highly educated positions. The thing is, here's the key thing that I want people to understand. Because I hear it all the time, like you don't have to be this to make 100,000. You could be a plumber, you could be a electrician, you could be, and that is very true. You could be a garbage man in New York City and make six figures with no student debt. Here's the thing: you're gonna have to work. You have to work. Yeah, overtime is a must. That's the key. You're gonna have to work. And a girl like me don't like to work. So the less educated you are, so in order to make more money in your salary to get to $100,000 a year, the more education you will have to have. The more educated you are, the less you will have to work to get those six figures. The less educated you are, you can get those six figures, but you just have to put in a little bit more hours. So you can ask for a raise, you can negotiate a salary, you can do different things in your job. Like getting my job, I'm not a postdoctoral scientist anymore. I'm a professor of biology. But the reality is I had to diversify in my job to increase my salary. Just teaching, though it's a good lucrative field, it didn't get me to six figures. But teaching plus running a grant, and it really doesn't necessarily increase that much time frame. Here I am on Facebook at 6 o'clock. I was home by 5. I don't work past 5, and I don't work on Fridays. Like, I don't work. Let me rephrase that. I work hard, but not the type of work that is back breaking. And it depends on what you like. Do you want to work like crazy? You might want to change careers where there's more opportunities for lucrative in, finances and less work. And as I said before, sometimes the more educated you are, the better opportunities you have to do that. However, you got to also check the type of job you do. You could be a surgeon and make six figures, but you're on call. You have to know your limitations. But I know me. I know me. I just didn't want to work a lot. I liked having my free time. I love, I have about 2 months, 2 months in a couple of weeks of vacation time, and that's not even including leave. That's not including leave. Like, I literally have leave where I can take some time off, but I don't like to do that most of the times because I don't like leaving my students. But if I wanted to, I could take off leave, right? So I have 2 months of I have all the holidays, every holiday, and I have spring break here, summer break. I have um midsummer week here. I have summer 3 weeks there. I have winter for a month. I have Thanksgiving. Like, I have all these holidays. Great, great, great job. God be praised for my job. At the same time, I had to take a little bit of extra workload in running a grant. So if you have a career, if you want to make money for your career, you're going to have to negotiate your salary and also do a little bit of shifting in your career where you're not just doing base salary, but you're also getting extra money for other things that you do in your job. Number two, you're talking about how to make six figures. You want to make six figures. You want to make $100,000 a year. According to Invested Wallet, what do you have to do? Number two, you have to have a side hustle. It is very difficult to make six figures in a single salary unless you like those few and far between types of jobs, or you're pulling enough overtime with work, which you don't want to do. You want to have a work life balance. I don't want to work a lot. So how are you going to get six figures and not work a lot? You're gonna have to make money in other ways outside of you trading your time for money. And the best way to do that is a side hustle. Side hustles, freelancing, consulting, some kind of side business. Start an e-commerce store, start a blog, Craigslist selling, and these are all examples on the internet where the article Invested Wallet. These are side hustles. My side hustle, God be praised, came up when I kicked out cable and I started to dream a little bit, and I started to write my book, and I started to develop STEM camps, and I started to just dream a little bit. And so with these instruments, Phenomenal STEMist was born. And I don't do much work with Phenomenal STEMist other than on Wednesdays I come and talk to my people about financial empowerment. On one Sunday a month, I interview another person who's a STEMist. I wrote my book. I sell my book. Speaking of which, you can find that book on Amazon. Phenomenal STEMist. Um, and then I have online STEM camps that basically work by themselves. And then I'm a STEM consultant, meaning people hire me. I just deposited a check today for 1 hour. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. I need to find more of those. As a matter of fact, I'm doing another one in March. Listen, you guys, it's amazing. You find out what your skill set is, and then you capitalize off of it as a side hustle. I'm getting calls from two I have two consultant gigs that are pretty consistent. One is for professional development where I speak for 1 hour, and one is for um modification of it's an online non-for-profit academy online that needs help mastering and modifying their biology courses and their exams and things like that. They need people with who are qualified to consult with them on how to build their biology program. And every, I think, quarter, I get something, a contract to assist them in some form or fashion. It's a side hustle. It's a side hustle that opened up. I did a good job with it, and they keep coming for more. It's a side hustle. Six figures don't come through salary. Very difficult. Six figures come through, number one, a career, a small set of careers in which you can get a good amount of income, but usually you have to work really long hours. So it's best to do a good career, increase your salary, and then on top of that, do a side hustle. Who's with me? I see a couple people watching. I see a couple people watching. Mommy, you are retired. You are retired. Number three, how to make a six-figure salary. Number three, investments. Investments. What do I mean by that? You make six figures not from working. It's very difficult. Even a side hustle, even a side hustle takes time. Not as much time, because I said it before, for 1 hour. You get you a good gig, they'll give you a lot of money for 1 hour. So it doesn't take much time, but nonetheless, it took time. It took time for me to build that program. It took time for me to not only build it, but it took time for me to speak. So if you're gonna have side hustles, you have to make sure you have different types of side hustles where it doesn't involve you actually working, because then you're working. So you're still working and you're trading time for money. So creating assets like books and things like that that can sell themselves while you're sleeping, that's a way to do it without working. But the best way to make six figures without working is investments. Investments. Number three, investments. So I'm talking about investing in the stock market, where you're getting dividends, where you're getting increases of interest, and you need to do that from a young age. So those of you who are in your 20s, you need to start investing now. So by the time you get into your 30s and 40s, you have six figures. You have six figures already built up. If you invest $6,000 over 10, 20 years, you'll have six figures. And if you invested right, then imagine when you're making six figures in your 30. Let's say you have $100,000 in the bank. If it's moving at 10% a year, 30%, and then truth be told, the stock market has been increasing on average 20 to 30% for the past few years. So imagine if you built up $100,000 in the bank and it's increasing 10 to 30%. That's $10,000 to $30,000 a year you're increasing. And it's not even compounded. So you add that 10, 20, $30,000 to your $70,000. That's $100,000. So how easy, how fast you made between the dividends. Between the dividends, stocks, those kind of stocks, they they basically give you increases, and that counts. That counts toward your yearly income. So if you make $50,000 a year working, and then you do another side hustle that makes $10,000 a year, that's 60. And then since you've been invested from your 20s, and now you have money in the stock market account, and that's another $30,000 a year. There goes your six figures. There goes your, and I mean, and then real estate. You buy properties and you rent it out. It's a little tougher, you know, but these are all investments. Investments. Basically, having something make you an extra $10,000 a year. That's how you can make six figures. All right. It's not it's the same old, but generating six-figure income requires versatility and diversity. All right, beautiful people. I hope you work on number 1, negotiating your salary, getting good jobs to make a high level of high five figures maybe, and then developing your skill set to get a side hustle to give you another couple of few thousand dollars, and then investing in the stock market over time, and that will give you a couple of thousand. And together, and investing in real estate, and that will give you a couple of thousand. And together, all those things get you six figures. You guys have a good night. See you, mommy. Retirees work too. Man, retirees collect pensions and social security and 401ks. Collect pensions, social security, and 401. Get out of here. Do nothing. I want to be like you when I grow up, Ma. Good night, everybody.